as it relates to separating TikTok from global and having a separate US app, you really are talking about fragmentation here. So you're taking away a lot of the global scale benefits that these internet companies really rely on to provide the highest return to their advertisers, but also to have content really travel globally. And so on that point, if there's going to be a separate TikTok US app, right? There's basically going to be a firewall in place so that content's not going to be able to travel. There's not going to be any relationship between TikTok International and TikTok US. That also matters a lot for any type of advertiser trying to run their global campaigns. So all of a sudden, TikTok's value to advertisers become less. By separating the company from ByteDance, you're losing kind of the e-commerce potential of the company. So I think you have a lot of disruption related to users engagement. And then if you look at the growth rates on revenue, it's kind of stalled out, right? So 2024 is about $10 billion revenue. Growth has slowed significantly. It's almost stopped growing. And so then when you get a valuation that gets floated out there and saying that it's going to be $14 billion, right? Which I agree is low, right? I mean, I think people thought it was going to be something like 40 or 50 billion, but the reality is you're talking about a company that, has some pretty serious challenges.
If I got to get you to deactivate your old account, start up a new one, start putting content on it, train the algorithm, then figure out the monetization, like it feels like you could really see it very diminished. And I'm not sure I guess I had heard like a year or so ago, like TikTok wasn't even really profitable, even at the size it's at.
Correct. Yep.
So you're already buying an asset that theoretically is just losing money. So you got to like ramp up the monetization, to even make it a profitable.
Well, and then let's layer on top of the fact that what we're seeing with all these AI investments, that's actually pretty accretive to the ad business overall. And so what is the potential for TikTok to spend, the billions and billions and billions of dollars of capital necessary, in order to compete with the likes of Meta's algorithm, Google's algorithm, especially when it comes to ad targeting and attribution. So it just becomes, a much more significant hurdle. Yes, they have a relationship with Oracle. I'm sure they get some compute from that, which can help. But the reality is that it's a real, uphill battle for them. So we'll have to continue to watch it. But, look, they still have a decent amount of engagement, but that could really just continue to support Meta's growth. Like Meta, it's really bullish for Meta.
Actually, I have a very different perspective on TikTok from what Andrew said, but more on the international front. I actually believe this US TikTok sale actually benefits their international business in a material way. What I just don't understand is how low that $14 billion number is. I mean, that's a extreme fire sale number. But I will stress a couple of things here. One, this is just a US entity. Doesn't include anything on the international part, which is where their growthy parts of their business is. Second, this doesn't include the all-important Chinese algorithm. It will be a new algorithm, probably written by Oracle's engineers. And then third, ByteDance does not have control anymore. They have about 20%, a little bit below 20% threshold. But the critical thing is they will not have control, which means they will not care. They will just collect a management fee on this, what they call a license fee. So to me, this is a major positive from that angle for ByteDance, who's the parent company of TikTok. Less distractions going forward. Now, what this will mean is they can focus on everything else to get to that growth level that people are expecting out of ByteDance, including potentially a Hong Kong IPO, which I can't wait.
Felix, I don't think we're that different. I don't think we're that not aligned. I mean, I think that view is kind of similar. I'm just coming at it from like the US point, right? Because everything we pretty much said is like the exact same thing I said. You're just looking at it from the ByteDance perspective, which is an international, which is obviously different perspective and valuable perspective. But, I wouldn't want to, the interpretation on the US side is obviously, different, right? So, I mean, I think we're both saying the same things in terms of the deal structure and what's happening. I just would say that the international, piece is just different than the US piece.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Coach. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, I think, both are important, right, Andrew? So from ByteDance's perspective, if the US side doesn't do that well, then they have to focus on somewhere else. I'm just more thinking about what they are, what they had to go through, right? And now it's finally over, supposedly. Again, supposedly,
At least
fingers
for now.
crossed. But, nothing's been written down, right? We have a lot of tweets. We have, but nothing's been really, really, really finalized. But Trump says we finally got the green light from Xi. The question is, what are they going to do going forward? But yeah, to Andrew's point, like this is now a U.S. company, supposedly. And you have Oracle, you have a bunch of PE guys, and we'll see what happens. But I just hope it won't be a distraction to ByteDance because, to me, they're more focused on the bigger pie here. I mean, obviously they didn't want to lose US, but now they're forced to lose the US piece. But they have to move forward, and I think it could be a more positive future for ByteDance now that this thing's out of the way.
Thanks for watching Hedgeye on YouTube. If you haven't already, make sure to click on the button below there. Subscribe to our YouTube page. You can also follow the link in the description to our website to get even more great investing content.